First time Pan is able to tap into her Super Saiyan powers and transform, it only lasts for so long, because eventually she's met with her death by the hands of Bojack. By structure of the tournament, Pan was scheduled to face Bojack, and the match carried onward. Pan started off the match really well, hitting Bojack with a lot of combinations of Kamehameha attacks that seemed to have put Bojack away relatively early. However, before jumping into the match, Pan's father Gohan at the time told her to be very wary and careful of Bojack, that he was a mean person and that he is much stronger than Pan was. Of course, Pan was able to show that inner Goku resolve and not wanting to give up and back down regardless of the challenges. She said she wouldn't give up, so of course she carried on with the match. Bojack, who was still in his first form at the time, really struggled against Pan because of her speed and quickness, especially once she transformed into a Super Saiyan, heightening her abilities, agility, and all the rest of her attributes. Pan, who had the upper hand and advantage at this moment in the match because Bojack highly underestimated her power, looked like she was about to finish things and put the nail in the coffin. She hits Bojack with one of her most powerful Kamehamehas that obviously creates smoke around his body and having everyone in the arena think and believe that she won the match right after that move connects. Unfortunately for them, that was not the case. Bojack emerges from the smoke, transformed into his final state with an absolutely crazy psychotic look on his face, and he grabs Pan by the neck. He begins to literally choke and squeeze the life out of Pan as he still has his hand gripped around her neck. Nobody can step in because if they do interfere, their universe will be set back and disqualified from the tournament. And then it happens. An absolute cracking in the neck as Pan is killed by Bojack. Everyone in the arena goes silent, whimpers, crying. The face on her father Gohan shows anger, sorrow, disbelief that he just witnessed his daughter die right before his eyes by the hands of a villain he tried to warn her about, but of course, being heard, she went against his will and still decided to fight the match anyways. In this tournament, death was allowed and no disqualification were to happen, so Bojack was declared the winner and Pan had died right before everyone's eyes. Kakarot from an alternative timeline scuffed and said that's what she gets for trying to enter this tournament thinking she can go head to head with the big dogs. The person who did not take kindly to Pan's death at all was Bra. Filled with anger and rage of watching her friend die literally right before her eyes, she begins to power up and is about to rush in to fight Bojack, but Gohan stops her. Once again, the rule of no interference regardless of the circumstances comes into play. And Gohan tells Bra that if she does interfere, once again, they will be sent back. They have to keep reminding themselves of that possible consequence. Everyone at hand sees how hard Gohan is trying to keep his rage pinned down to prevent himself from going to fight Bojack right then and there. Bra still insists that Bojack must die and he will die at her hands, but Gohan stops her again and says if you want to hit somebody, hits me. He begins powering up and sends crazy amounts of energy and power through the arena and the stage. Super Brew comments noting that Gohan has not lost an ounce of his power since they fought back during the Buu arc in Dragon Ball Z. After Gohan's immense demonstration of his strength, things begin to slowly quiet down as they resume back to the tournament with a plan after this tournament is over to resurrect Pan with the only way they know how. And that is the story of Pan, daughter of Gohan, who turned Super Saiyan for the first time, but it is short-lived because Bojack literally chokes her to death and she dies right in front of her own father's eyes as well as her mother and everybody else that was watching. Pretty crazy story and outcome when you think about it, and it's something that we could totally see happen because we saw that in GT where Pan was very stubborn. She showed a lot of characteristics like Goku, always wanting to do her own thing regardless of how heavily outmatched she was via power and strength. She still would always want to go into a fight, not give up, and give it her all. You have to give it to her for her resiliency and her courage, but at the same time, being stubborn like that, not having the sense to know that maybe you overstepped your boundaries and you're in way over your head and you need to kind of, find an exit out of a really bad situation. That does not register with Pan, and she suffers the ultimate price for it by dying by the hands of Bojack. I thought this was really put together well, and as I've talked about it before, whenever Dragon Ball does return, if they go the route of Super and there's going to be a time skip and the kids are older, I really hope they don't continue this type of personality with Pan. I would like for her to be different. It was super annoying in GT, always gets her into trouble. Characters like that are so hard to get behind because they're always going to do stupid things. Regardless of them not giving up, it always eventually ends them in trouble. It puts them in bad spots because they just don't know when they need to take a seat and live to fight another day, essentially. So I hope whatever they do with Pan's character in the future, it is not similar to what we've seen here, and sure as hell not similar to what we've seen in GT. This is Dragon Ball Multiverse Chapter 6, if I'm not mistaken. So if you guys want to read this yourselves, go ahead and do that at the Dragon Ball Multiverse website. As always, appreciate your love and support. Unfortunately, that is all the time I have for you guys today, but I will see you all later.